feel like making I feel like making I feel like making I feel like making I feel like making love to you.
Warning. Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the Common Denominator, and the Paramystic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and/or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think it's tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small
How's everybody doing on this Taco Tuesday?
Hey, how you like that new intro? And I am so glad we finally had the rights to use that music.
Me too. Thanks to old Dijon, whatever his name is.
Condeleon.
He likes it when I call him Dijon, so.
Well, he ain't no mustard.
Kind of yellow, I mean. So.
Oh, it's been a wild week out there, folks. Been a wild week.
Been, especially if you live in Tornado Alley, it's been a really wild week. And hello, Miss Ruth. I'm glad to see you.
Hello, Miss Ruth.
So far, I guess you're doing okay there in Michigan. I've seen some weather reports coming along. I'm over here typing on two computers, so. Sorry, go ahead.
So, during this time of year and throughout this year, we will say be weather prepared. And we promote a young YouTuber called Ryan Hall. And he has worked so very diligently to promote and do a live broadcast anytime there is a huge weather outbreak of any kind, that we all need to be prepared so that we can be ready for whatever comes at us. And I'd like to share just maybe a minute or two of his live broadcast, because I know he's live right now, so that you can see what we're talking about when we talk about him.
And of course, I try to share him and my internet starts messing up, but must be sucking up some bandwidth because He's been getting
has just
sucked up a
passed Piqua.
bunch, but
So we've been talking about you guys for an hour
See.
now. Hopefully everybody got to the shelter. If you didn't get hit by a tornado and you're in Piqua, that's good news. I don't think, it doesn't look as convincing to me as it once did on radar.
Those
But
sirens are
I'd
in
say
my
give it
house.
another 5 minutes in Piqua and you can come out of your storm shelter. I would stay there for the next 15 minutes, though, if I'm in Fletcher, Ohio.
he moves around. He's usually got storm. Yeah, you can see the storm.
The
chasers
WAPA,
down, storm chasers
however, we
out,
have a
and,
tornado warning that continues for New
he's really
Hampshire.
good at sharing that stuff out. And actually,
Yep. And he
when I was
also
watching
has a
last night, when those-
503c3
right,
nonprofit that, people like us donate to help storm victims wherever there is a storm, because as chasers not only chase and report the weather as it happens, they also stop and do whatever that needs to help these people, whether it be cleanup
Right.
supplies, food, water, whatever.
and I think whenever
So,
he went on,
Please
usually stays on
support
the air.
this young man.
he usually stays on the air until the tornadoes are gone. But I think he was on for about 12 hours last night. He also wasn't feeling good, so he actually left before the last tornado. But he had raised about $10,000 for Central Oklahoma, where the bad tornadoes hit near Barnesville, which got pretty much obliterated. And Ruth right here was talking about tornadoes in there was tornadoes there in the Kalamazoo area. I'm not sure if this one's from the Kalamazoo area, but one of these videos just popped up. So, and I got more sirens going by me. How quick these things can drop down.
You can see the tail there. Got to get out of the way of them.
Yeah, you can tell that looks like fog, but it's definitely rain.
There it is. There's the tail.
It's trying to spin up two of them, but it's all in the, yeah. Somebody was asking me last night if two tornadoes could turn into one, and that's about what it would look. Yeah, that's definitely what we said.
Yep.
So
I have seen hurricanes have spin off tornadoes off of the outskirts of them and do way more devastations than you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But when you have twins and triplets that turn into one tornado, that usually adds up to an EF2 or 3 or sometimes 4 or 5.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. And I keep an eye on, if you can learn how to read some Doppler radar or some velocity radar and stuff like that, that helps out a lot too.
Well, if you watch Ryan Hall, he explains, he and Andy, his meteorologist.
Ryan Hall does explain a lot of those, a whole lot of those. So,
and there are other ones out there. I've been following Ryan Hall for a little over 2 years.
Last night, I know there was 3 or 4 storm chasers that were actually right in the path of Barnesville when that tornado hit. So a lot of these storm chasers went to rescuers after that, and they actually did find several people with major house damage that they were trying to check up on everybody. The neighbors were all out trying to check up on everybody. Now, the problem is if you are the only person home and you're out checking up on everybody, then people are going to wonder where you're at too. So that was another thing I was noticing last night. So yeah, these are places that are getting hit over and over again. So that's
well, Oklahoma is like hideous right now. That's 2 small towns in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess it is better it hit small towns than big towns, but
we have seen such a huge outpour and support from all the communities around this small town that, they're going to be doing great. They're going to rebuild. I know the small town that I'm from, Chickasha, donated 2 or 3 buses so that the kids could go to school, because all the school buses from Sulphur actually were destroyed. And I know during that live stream, I'll say it right in a minute, Ryan Hall raised over $150,000 to help these storm victims.
And I guess that's he was pretty much saying he had 100,000 viewers at most of the time. So he was just wanting each one of them to donate $1, which I'm not very good at donating money to people online. I'll admit it, but
well, when they go out and they do the good, because I have followed him, I know what he does. He does out of the goodness of his heart. He doesn't make anything.
Another thing is look on your phone for apps that might be able to help you too. Like if you can tell, there's more sirens going by my house, but I can only tell what the fire department's doing. So, and all it says is medical emergency with an ambulance and a fire truck there, but these are all police going by, so no telling what that is.
Well, the police always go to lend a hand.
Oh, mostly here they'll go to lend a hand, pretty much whatever it is, but it could be anything from domestic violence to somebody having a heart attack to
somebody is falling and can't get up, like me,
or overdosed on meth or fentanyl or something like that. So yeah, so you never know what it means when it says medical emergency. But here is a video from Fox Weather that can't remember if this one has footage in it or not, drone footage, but the drone footage looks really bad. But this is only a 2-minute video, but
multiple people were hurt. No word on how many or how serious those injuries are. But our Robert Ray is in the community of Barnsdall and spoke to a tornado survivor.
You can see them.
You tell that place.
Tell me what happened.
It just hit all of a sudden. I felt pressure in my ears, and it just got really, really loud.
You can hear your ears pop. Whenever those things come through.
The cellar door blow open, and there was just stuff blowing everywhere in the door. There was a pergola on here. We had a pergola on top of this.
Let me see if I can pause it at the right time. No.
This is the back.
If you look down in this corner down here, you can see what they were picking up in that tornado.
This is the cellar where I was in. We was trapped in here. The last tornado, a tree fell on us.
See down here in the bottom corner, you can see that tornado that storm chasers were getting.
And this is the cellar where I was in. We was trapped in here. The last tornado, a tree fell on it. We were trapped inside.
You were in this cellar right here?
Yes.
I was at work and come home and she was in there.
Show me what you did.
I just came up out of it. The storm. See this door? We have this chain to latch it. And I even had it latched to the bolt in the floor, and it just ripped it off. And there was some stuff blowing down in there, and I just got in the corner the best I could with my little dog.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm missing my cats are gone.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Did you have enough warning when this came in to get into your cellar?
Yes, I did. I was in it probably a half an hour, and I was thinking about getting out. But my husband called and said a spotter said that there was another cell coming, so I stayed.
Brian Hartman works at the plant down here is where I work, and he's the one that sent all of us a warning out to take cover. So shout out to Brian.
Yes, or I would have been out in it because I was going back in the house. I would have been in the house.
When you see all this, and I know it happened just a short time ago, what goes through your head here?
We're alive.
We're alive.
We're alive. Thank God we're alive.
Yep. That's what you pretty much think you're alive.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm alive.
Yeah.
So when we tell you, don't be scared, be prepared. During this time of year, get you a bag. If you're on medication, put you at least 2 weeks worth of medicine in a bottle and put it in that bag. Put you some water, put you some protein snacks, put you some extra clothes in there.
I mean,
put it wherever you're going to shelter. If you have
Pretty much.
important papers and documents, put it in that bag. Put it in your storm shelter. Put it in your safe spot. Yes, that was Barnsdale.
yeah.
They got hit last night. Be prepared.
Yep.
Don't be scared.
Here,
Follow you a fabulous YouTuber like Ron Hall or Max Velocity or whoever.
and a lot of them will share information if there's something really bad happening. They don't usually share each other's feeds because of copyrights and stuff like that, but they do talk to each other. You can tell they talk to each other, but
yes,
this doesn't have any sound to it, but this is what it looked like this morning in Barnsdale. And of course it's going to get glitchy.
It was glitchy when I sent it to you. But that's what the path of an F3 tornado looks like, folks.
Yeah, that's an F3. And everybody wants to prejudge tornadoes and be like, oh, that's got to be F5 damage.
No, that's an F3.
That's
it was a mile and a half wide.
Look at how that mobile home there actually, look how it only tore up half of that mobile home and the window unit is still, oh no, maybe that's where they got out at. But see, some of that's amazing to me. And I'm sure a lot of these were mobile homes, you know. And whenever I was watching it on TV, I mean on Ryan Hall and on my own weather radars, that thing had a huge debris cloud. They said it was a mile and a half wide is what they were reporting on the scanner apps and on
and thanks to whomever it is that provided this and put this up on YouTube.
Yep, there's your semi-trailer right there, Sally.
Yep, and well, there's several tankers there because the gas plant there got hit.
Yeah, there was whenever I was listening to the scanner, they were talking about extremely heavy gas smell around there. So they showed it. You see how that thing just jumped right over the river?
Yep.
Right there. That's one of the things they were talking about.
It's weird how these storms work.
And there is nothing
thanks
left
to
these
the
houses.
people who put this drone footage up.
There is nothing left of any of these houses.
Nothing.
So, I mean.
And this is probably for one of his chasers.
Actually, I noticed that there is a shitload of chasers out there.
Well,
Oklahoma
the thing
probably has the most. Because Oklahoma, you can.
We are Tornado Alley. And this is where a lot of storm chasers come from because they study these things, how they formed, their cloud masses, the weather conditions, the whole 9 yards. They're great. Matter of fact, here lately, I've been feeling like I've been more of a storm chaser than anybody.
Well, I sure do wish you would quit driving through them dang things, Sally. You're not a storm chaser.
Well, I don't try to chase them. I try to avoid them because they and I are always crossing paths.
Well, you are always going the wrong way truck driving to avoid them. I will tell you that right now. You're always going the wrong way. Every time I talk to you, you're going the wrong way. And
yep. I have been extremely blessed.
Well, Vince, Dorothy, I don't know if you're talking about the one from Twister or the one on the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
You know, it was hitting old whatever you want to call it as well too. Old Kansas as well too. Now here's one of the bad things is all that rain is going somewhere. And this is from my old home state of Texas.
And the crazy thing is, we just filmed in this hometown Twister 2 sequel. 6 blocks from where I live.
They jinxed. Well, I guess I'm not going to even say that right now. So So
I will agree.
All that water
Even-
going downhill. Here's one of the places in Texas.
Hey,
recovered
Nikki.
near Fort Worth after historic flooding over the weekend in Texas. Search and rescue teams are patrolling streets and neighborhoods for people stuck in the water. This past weekend, at least 200 people were rescued from homes and vehicles. Nicole Valdez takes a look at the damage.
After days of torrential rain, Texas finally getting a chance to dry out Monday, but parts of the state are still dealing with high floodwaters, forcing continued road and school closures. The National Weather Service says some communities northeast of Houston got nearly 2 feet of rain over the past week. Entire neighborhoods have been submerged underwater, leaving residents facing a long cleanup.
You could see it's just
it's
mud
not even
and
hurricane
soot.
season yet.
So this will all have to be power washed out.
In Harris County, where Houston's located, local officials urging those in heavily flooded areas to avoid returning home until conditions improve, warning the murky waters could be dangerous.
A couple yesterday tried to go see their homes despite our warnings, and at one point the gentleman had to really hold on to his partner because she was being pulled away by the current.
Since last week, storms have forced hundreds of rescues in the Lone Star State. These conditions turning deadly west of Dallas in Johnson County, where officials say a 4-year-old boy died after being swept away. So many across the state now trying to make sense of the loss of life and property.
It's very disheartening. Very disheartening just to watch people lose everything time and time again.
Members of the North Carolina Emergency Management Swift Water Rescue Team are headed to Texas. Southeast Texas seeing devastating flooding, intensified by another round of storms. Texas game wardens have joined emergency services in rescue efforts. At least 224 people have been saved from flooding. A 5-year-old boy has died after the car he and 2 adults were in got stuck in rising water. The man and woman were both rescued.
And my thoughts and prayers go out to our friends over at the Logbook who are currently dealing with this flood.
Yes, they are. And
you know, we
she sent a
all
message
know
about-
people.
She sent
that
a
are having-
message talking about some of it, and I guess they opened up the dam spillways, not the dam spillway, the spillways on the dams. That sounds better. And they didn't warn them or anything like that before they did it. So I know a few years ago they were talking about record droughts in Texas. So it kind of seems like the same thing that's happened to California is happening to Texas now, with all the lake levels being so low. And
I remember when they blew the levees over in southern Missouri to save the town of Cairo, Illinois.
I mean, these probably are flood controlled. You wouldn't have to blow nothing up. You just have to open up the dam more.
Well, no, they blew the levees because if they hadn't, the levees would have overflowed and they would have lost Cairo, Illinois.
Well, I mean,
excuse me. And all of a sudden, when we heard the great big boom, within an hour, we were being evacuated. The trucks, the semis, our truck stop went 4 foot underwater.
Well,
they were literally coming around in boats, beating on our doors, telling us just crank up and get out of there.
Yeah. Well, I guess away from the weather, that stuff going on this week, which right now it looks like there's still tons of tornado warnings. What's that?
Well, you never know. I was reading Vincent's comment. You know, we could speak with the rescuers. I have actually spoke with people who live in the small towns that have been hit, except for Barnsdale. Haven't been up that far. I've talked to the relief effort groups that are forming in a church parking lot next to our terminal that are sending people in to help clean up. help cancel.
Haven't had to deal with any of that yet. I know Florida was
These
talking about
are hard times for people to go through. And
Florida
if you
was
talk
talking
to
about
them,
sending rescue people to Oklahoma and Texas because of the flood. Well, Texas got hit by tornadoes also pretty hard. So,
well, you know, the emergency power crews are coming from all over the United States as well.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, it's a group effort. You know, the world looks for us to rescue them, but who's going to rescue us? We do.
yeah,
It's
we're
our
the only ones that
communities
rescue
joining
us.
together and working together as a team.
And just like all those small towns we're talking about, they come to the rescue to each other when that crap happens. So, I mean, it's not like, I mean, you see people, and plus another thing about Barnesdale and Bartlesville.
And Sulphur.
Well, maybe Sulphur.
Marietta, Ardmore.
Oh, you're not even letting me finish there, Sally. That's all volunteer fire departments. That's all volunteers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's whenever you're calling them, it's kind of like whenever some of these hurricane hits, you go out and rescue, your house is already destroyed, so there's nothing you can do. So, go ahead and go help somebody else while you're at it.
Yeah.
So, but
because you never know when your day's coming.
On a different subject, this was going on in Chicago this weekend. This was the Cinco de Mayo parade. You know, fun festivities.
About violence prompts the Cermak Road Cinco de Mayo parade to be disrupted as gunshots ring out.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli is live on the west side with the latest. Courtney.
Jackie and Taman, good afternoon. This afternoon, multiple people were arrested as tensions escalated in the city's Little Village neighborhood. Police say multiple guns were recovered, multiple objects were thrown at officers, and we do know that those taken into custody were taken to several places, one of those police districts right here at CPD's 10th District.
It's just it's out of control.
This right here, part of the reason why the historic Cinco de Mayo parade was canceled Sunday afternoon. It was set to step off at noon near Cermak and Damon, making its way to Marshall in California.
A lot of families, a lot of kids love parades. You know, I hate to see it happen. And, you know, it really bothers me and it bothers everyone.
Due to area gang violence, police say they made the joint decision with elected officials and parade organizers out of an abundance of caution. Residents say parade goers and participants were getting ready for the celebration to start.
And then just chaos just happens, you know. There's no respect.
Police sources say this is part of an ongoing territorial dispute between rival gangs. The violence unfolding along Cermak and surrounding streets on Sunday.
All right, 22nd in California, they're still shooting, guys. 2 in California. 4 shots fired. We got gangbangers pulled garbage cans up down the block over at 22nd in California.
Tensions escalating as officers tried to disperse crowds. Police sources say people were still shooting. Groups flashing what appear to be gang signs on opposite sides of the road as crowds were running from one area to the next.
You better move it. They're starting to hit squad cars.
As streets in the area remain closed down, businesses like Raymond's Tacos shuttered their doors as vendors cleared the area. An impact to the people trying to make a living, as well as the ones living in the area where this unfolded.
You know, people are afraid to come into the neighborhood and people are moving out, but this is home, so I live here.
What happens is that the community, they're afraid of the gangs.
The excitement to hold a parade canceled several times over the last few years due to various reasons, taken away once again. Residents say they want to see change happen so people don't have to live in fear.
I hope they step up the police presence. You know, we are concerned, and I know the police are doing their best.
For Chicago to be a better community, we all need to work together. We need not to be afraid.
Now, right now, some conflicting information we're trying to work out. Police say that while the parade was canceled, those floats and their participants did have to be routed out of the area. So while it looks like there may have been a parade that was held and they were moving along a different route, they say they were just trying to get them out of there. Meantime, Alderman Byron Cicho Lopez and his office are disputing that claim, saying the parade went on as scheduled, starting on Damon along Blue Island until it finished at Blue Island and Washtenaw. A heavy police presence remains in that area right now, and police say they.
So, yeah, some of them were saying that it was canceled, and some of them were saying, the police were saying it was canceled, but the city was saying it was just rerouted.
Well, I have been to Cinco de Mayo celebrations, and they are fabulously fun.
Yeah.
But when we have gangs that are taking advantage of these events.
And Vincent asked if it was MS-13. Who the heck knows who it was? That's Chicago. There's gangs everywhere. So, I mean, it could have been MS-13.
It could have just been a color war.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could have been just two gangs fighting in Chicago. They said they were yelling and throwing gang signs across the street. It might not even had anything to do with color. It might have just been a neighborhood war or something like that, you know? Or, hell, the way these people are now, it could have been something somebody said bad on Facebook, you know? Posted something negative about them on Instagram, you know? So, I mean...
Could have looked cross-eyed at his sister.
And the way these people are, they know they're not going to get in trouble for it, or especially if they're minors. And that's something a lot of these people, like that guy there, is saying, step up police presence. Well, he probably isn't one that was out protesting. They were talking about how bad it was for all the businesses there. People won't even come downtown. Now, I mean...
That's why these small town communities are dying up, because, you know, of crap like this. There was no call for those gang members to have started that shit right in the middle of a celebration.
No reason at all.
They could have done it any damn where else except there.
Yeah, you could have went anywhere else except there. You could have went to a damn nightclub and done it. At least that wouldn't be full of kids and crap like that.
They could have gone to a vacant lot and just beat the hell out of each other until they solved it. But that's the problem. Nobody wants to take a good old-fashioned ass whooping. They want to throw knives and guns and whatever the hell else they can.
I don't know what the heck's going on by my house, but I still hear sirens going off, and then I hear trucks driving fast, or loud trucks going back and forth. So, you know. And then we also got...
I keep expecting to see a cop show up behind you and say, look, you need to get inside and lock down. Hey, don't put it past them.
And this one doesn't have to do with protests or anything before. This one is a superintendent that got fired for punishing students that did not clap enough for her daughter getting a softball award.
Oh my goodness.
So thankfully, some of these people are starting to get fired more for being such dumbasses. I also found one that I was trying to find, but evidently it's been taken down, about all these women, or it was a school board. It wasn't just women. It was a school board meeting, and the parents are standing up saying that they didn't want this adult content in their classrooms. And all these teachers, they were all wearing red t-shirts, so I don't know what group they were with, but they would start booing all of the people talking against them off the podium pretty much. And then the school board president started kicking each one of them out. And I was like, hell yeah. And of course that one's disappeared now. I can't even find that one anymore, but I was really surprised to see that. So, but yeah, I was really surprised to see that. Let's see.
That's right, Miss Ruth. Thank goodness people are standing up.
After meeting in a closed-door session, school board members for the Poway Unified School District have voted to unanimously terminate Superintendent Marianne Phelps. You can see her picture has already been taken off this wall.
The board has lost all confidence and trust in Dr. Phelps' ability to continue to serve as superintendent.
So this superintendent was fired from her job because she threatened to punish students because they didn't clap loud enough for her daughter. I am not making this up. This is Marianne Phelps. She's the superintendent for a school district in California. Now, because Marianne lives in a district, her daughter also goes to the local schools. Now, along with her education, her daughter is on the softball team. Now, at the end of the year, they have an award ceremony for the softball team. Now, the superintendent's daughter was honored at that event. Here is what happened.
This player was second in batting average.
This is video of the banquet provided to KPBS by the plaintiff's attorney. It shows the lead up to the Most Valuable Player Award for the Del Norte High School girls softball team being given to Superintendent Phelps's daughter, who we're not naming. The applause, or lack of it, is at the crux of the matter.
Now, as you see, everyone clapped, but Phelps was upset because she said the claps weren't loud enough.
Says the problem started later in the evening of the banquet. These are texts, Doe says the superintendent sent her, asking to talk. There is another screenshot showing the two did talk for more than half an hour. Reedon says Phelps accused Doe and her friends on the softball team of not clapping loud enough when her daughter received the Most Valuable Player Award. Though Doe subsequently apologized, the lawsuit says Phelps ordered school personnel to investigate the incident as a case of bullying. The lawsuit says Doe and her family were told they needed to sign a statement acknowledging the attempt to bully Phelps's daughter. They didn't, and that's when they say the investigation began.
Now, really think about what's going on here. It's not like they didn't clap. They clapped for her daughter. It's that the superintendent didn't believe they clapped loud enough. And because they didn't clap loud enough, she's investigating it as an instance of bullying.
After that, the lawsuit says Phelps intimidated Doe and other softball players. It says she retaliated by harassing and threatening Doe. It says Phelps's ultimate goal was to prevent Doe from competing against her daughter to be a pitcher on the team.
So the students stood up for themselves. They went to the next board meeting and told the board what the superintendent was doing and the way she was doing it. Here's what the students said.
She used her power and influence to bully our students and essentially break up our softball program at Del Norte. I think it's finally time we ask ourselves, who is a real bully in this situation?
I and four other coaches were at the softball banquet where this vendetta started. Were never contacted about the so-called incident. If I or any of my fellow coaches would have violated this code of conduct and ethics, we would have been dismissed immediately from our coaching position.
Now, the superintendent wasn't going to just take this sitting down. She got on camera and said she did absolutely nothing wrong, and all this is just nonsense.
Can you say if you did or didn't reach out to students after midnight, around midnight, with claims of bullying?
I did not.
So, as you just heard, the superintendent denied reaching out to students late at night. Of course not, she didn't do that. But we have text messages from the superintendent to students that show the exact opposite.
The lawsuit includes screenshots of what appears to be Dr. Phelps texting a player near midnight after the banquet. Another screenshot of the plaintiff's call screen appears to show a 30-minute conversation between them that ended at midnight. It also includes other texts seemingly from Dr. Phelps accusing one student of lying, then telling her she'd follow up later from an administrative standpoint. The student was ultimately barred from all extracurricular activities for the 2023-2024 school year.
She made life hell for 10 seniors, threatening to bar them from their own graduation if they didn't admit that they did something they didn't do.
Earlier this year, one of the softball coaches said he was concerned about being fired.
The other coach that stood up for this, he has been fired. And so I'm in the same predicament. I think the same thing's going to happen.
The players and parents repeatedly brought their concerns to the Poway Unified School Board and made their voices heard at board meetings, but claimed for months nothing was done.
So the superintendent went on the offensive and denied all these accusations and even had her daughter testify in front of the board to tell people what really happened.
I've never talked to any student about making threats about them not graduating. All of those accusations are completely false and fabricated.
Phelps's daughter, Jessica, fought back tears to defend her. She says the softball program is the issue.
This is about having to endure being bullied, being yelled at in front of my teammates, and being publicly humiliated and targeted for months leading up to and including the softball game.
So the school board hired someone to investigate all of these claims because people just wouldn't let it go. And after that investigation was completed, the board made a decision.
After meeting in a closed-door session, school board members for the Poway Unified School District have voted to unanimously terminate Superintendent Marianne Phelps. You can see her picture has already been taken off this wall.
The board has lost all confidence and trust in Dr. Phelps' ability to continue to serve as superintendent.
Phelps was initially placed on paid administrative leave in February, connected to the controversy students have nicknamed Clappergate. Last November, Superintendent Phelps was accused of bullying members of the Del Norte softball team. The team was investigated for bullying, but parents say Phelps was behind the investigation. They claim it came after Phelps felt her daughter didn't get enough applause at the team's softball banquet. One of the players filed a lawsuit against Phelps, also naming the district and other employees, claiming the investigation was biased and resulted in banning the player from playing her senior year.
Well, that's pretty much that one. But isn't that ridiculous?
It is. It really is.
I can't imagine. I don't think my superintendent ever messaged or called my family at all. It was usually done from something else. But who in the world would expect you to get a call from the super, or not even that, they're texting the student, not even the parents of the student. I don't think my teachers ever called my parents' phone and asked for me. Nobody except for other students, or maybe, well, nobody. It would always be talking to my parents.
Why would a superintendent of education call any student unless there was a physical altercation? There was no physical altercation there. It's just that she was ticked off that people didn't stand up and hope and holler and scream for her daughter. They were doing it in an orderly fashion that you know,
it looked
please,
like
people.
to me they were clapping for her whenever she got her award.
I would have, you know, after so long of clapping for everybody who's getting an award, your hands get sore.
I mean,
I've been to these banquets. I've been to these award ceremonies. I had band students, I had basketball students, I had track students, I had football students, I had baseball students, all in my house. By the time banquet season was over, I was like, give me a bag of ice, please.
I mean, and also students, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about some of that stuff, because that's actually,
and it coming out of California really does not surprise me.
Clapping is a freedom of expression. How you're going to force me to clap? I mean,
it is a freedom of expression. You applaud.
I mean, this kind of goes.
Now, if they were doing this,
yeah, or
yeah, that's a sarcastic clap, or the,
you know, and
that's
I mean,
a snotty one.
Well, I mean, it's still.
If you're happy for that person, just clap.
Yeah, I mean, it's still teenagers too, so I mean, you gonna have to expect
Kat, I think you set them off. They're now going off around me.
I set what off? Oh.
Yeah, EMS.
Now, this is a guy from the quartering. This was one of the topics I was wanting to do about the protesters and
yeah,
stuff.
let's see a little bit of the protesters, because we have a good wind up for this one.
So, whoops, I'm still trying to share the wrong dang screen, since I'm not used to having two computers, but it keeps my internet from lagging so bad. This is from the quartering. This guy is pretty good. He looks kind of crazy, but he's pretty good. But
you just got to point and laugh at people. And I want to give a huge shout out to this individual who stuck it to him the right way. You know, you look at stuff like this, for example, on the third day of Princeton's hunger strike for Gaza, as temperatures fall and rains continue, Princeton admin refuses to allow our strikers to have tents, leaving them huddled under umbrellas, vulnerable, unsafe, shameful, and cruel. Do you even see one there? Do you see one individual in this encampment? There's not a single person even here. What are you talking about? There's nobody there. I wonder if they
Looks
left
like they
comments
went for a
open. They
cheeseburger.
did. Deep solidarity and care, solidarity. Or you could go back to your dry dorms and study for the finals. your performative BS accomplishes nothing. Oh, that's before they shut down replies. So they were getting ruthlessly dunked on, and then they shut down replies, which is, of course, nobody cares about these rich kids pretending they're down for the cause. It's pathetic. They understand nothing about optics. Then Alex Rawson, shout out to Alex, shared this video of Cupid Soldier writing, this is how it's done. Walk straight into the protest and mock these idiots right to their faces. I mean,
this guy's the funny one that made.
You know, I want to give, obviously, let's see. Who posted this first?
Okay, so I don't think that, well, I'll wait through it. And I saw the same video, but it showed what the guy looked like. So I'll go ahead and finish playing the video.
Oh, Henry Rogers. It's still at Cupid Soldier. So we'll give credit to the individual who was absolutely amazing. Let's just take a little look at this.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
You're not allowed to film in here.
By what statute? By what California statute? The First Amendment?
By the rules of the encampment.
Okay, so who's making those and enforcing those?
The SJP.
SJP is telling me what I can and can't do.
On Instagram. Well, in the encampment.
Huh?
To be in the encampment, you have to follow
So you guys...
Wrong, by the way. That's wrong. They don't own this property. They don't get to restrict people's movement inside this property. All of this, everything this little dork is saying is incorrect.
Purchase this land from UCLA?
No,
Lydia, get over here right now. You purchased this land from UCLA?
Security.
Lydia, do you hear what I just said? You need to stay next to me. Because these punk ass security guards in my face. Oh, for real?
No, right here.
Oh, this way?
No, this way.
Oh, come on, Lydia, get over here.
Please head this way.
Get over here, Lydia.
Can you please just head this way, sir?
Nah, I'd rather head this way.
Sir, you're...
And notice everybody's got these masks on.
Right? Like, sir, can you please head this way? Could you please? By the way, again, they do not have any right whatsoever at all to restrict people's movements in, out, in, through, and around an illegal encampment.
You're causing commotion. We're trying to keep it peaceful
sorry,
in here.
I'd rather head this way. Thanks.
We're trying to keep it peaceful here.
So am I. I'm a very peaceful person.
Can you please just...
No.
I'd rather head this way.
You're not following everyone.
Right. I'm not going to follow anything you're saying, bro. I don't even know you. You didn't even introduce yourself to me. You're wearing sunglasses and a mask. Yeah. You look like you're about to go rob a bank, bro. I don't have to listen to nothing you're saying, bro.
That's exactly. I mean, this guy's an absolute Chad. That's literally exactly what you do. Just walk in their stupid little encampments and make fun of them right to their face.
Look like you're about to hand a note to a bank teller and tell him, "Give me all the money."
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
And I'm gonna have to answer and say, "No, I don't have to win."
Right.
You're gonna wait for a lead and do.
Look at this hygiene. So they have a hygiene tent. I mean, like, what a hilarious LARP. Like, I don't know how else to describe this. Oh, we have a hygiene tent where everyone can get, I don't know what that says. Body wash. I mean, and they have paper towel. Why don't they just stay in their dorms that they're paying $80,000 a year for? I'm confused.
Do what mommy says. Okay? You're going to do what she told you to do because you're a good soldier. Follow orders. You know what I'm saying? And do what you were told because we're over here documenting right now. So SJP, FJP, the only JP I know is JP from Milwaukee.
Shout out.
JP from Milwaukee.
Look at what they're trying to do, by the way, just so everyone's clear, while we're having fun here, while we're making jokes, you know, they're trying to intimidate him. That's literally what they're trying to do.
That's all they're doing.
They're amassing around him, and trying to intimidate him.
And by using the mask, they hide their identities.
Hold on, I'm going to show you another video.
That's about it. Listen to your mommy. She said masks on.
Oh, there's somebody freaking out in the background. Put your masks on. There's someone filming. Put your mask. By the way, these masks do not make it difficult at all to identify these people. Now, this guy's got a towel on his head, so maybe he'd be a little bit harder for him. But every one of these parents, I guarantee you, every one of these LARPers' parents,
immediately
put your sunscreen on. Look, they all look like they're all greasy too. Oh, Oh, look at this guy. Oh my God. I better put my mask on.
For cooperating with SJP orders. They're recording, mask on.
The First Amendment auditors have ascended upon the encampments, and it is just as much gold as I had hoped.
Hide this stuff that we're doing, bro. Y'all is not
For justice in Palestine.
Exactly. How did I get in here? Can you explain how I got in here, sir? That's crazy. How did I get in here?
He walked in.
Bro, I thought this was isn't this library, bro? I was trying to go to class. SJP takeover, bro. Man,
You can tell he's just in there trolling them big time.
What's up? Okay, let's see what these guys like to read.
African American.
Oh, that's actually a classic right there.
Oh, he is black. Okay.
You're from Orion's,
yes, I am. I'm a friend of a lot of people. Matthew,
Hey, Scissors.
you know what I'm saying? I'm a friend of a lot of people.
So I'm sure you recall, but we're asking folks to avoid filming these meetings.
Now,
Wrong.
Hey, run with scissors.
Yes.
Hold on a second. I think I saw it.
All right.
I'm not like a big TikTok guy, but if this dude's on Twitter or whatever, shout out Cupid Soldier.
Let me ask you a question. Do you get this? Is please, I'm being polite with you. Please be polite with me. Do you understand what a First Amendment auditor does?
I understand.
So can you explain what a First Amendment auditor does?
You audit if people are observing the First Amendment.
Right. And you do understand that the First Amendment requires that I'm allowed to film with my camera on
So
public
the First
property.
Amendment does not require that because
All
it was written before the invention of film or cameras.
Oops.
What I'm asking
Well, you know how it's enforced by the.
It's a public event.
This guy said that the First Amendment does not apply because it was written before film was invented.
That's such horseshit.
So,
Well, when we're talking about the First Amendment, and that's a pro-Palestine protest, and we have superintendent, bullying people because they ain't clap loud enough.
by the way, this guy come walking in with a Cabbage Patch doll blonde wig on. And I think his wife or somebody else was with him, and they were carrying around a white doll, a white baby's doll that was like 2 foot big. And that's how he was saying that he got into the protest, was because they thought he was a liberal by the way he was dressed.
Well, all you got to do is dress like you're stupid.
Well, that's kind of what his point was. So, I want to share this video because this is a new one that was outside of New York, and it was the Met Gala, and this was a protest that happened there. And just to show you how they're just peacefully protesting, I guess it's more peaceful than the BLM riots were, but just to show you how peacefully they're protesting and not doing anything wrong, tearing up nothing or anything. So this is from last night or today, I want to say. So, and it is from New York
News. One of the hottest parties in New York last night, though, it was the scene of a showdown between protesters and police. Fox's Kennedy Hayes is live in New York with more details, and there were arrests made last night, right?
Christine, there were. NYPD reportedly arrested 24 people overnight. Protesters tried to make it as close to the very exclusive celebrity Met Gala as they could. Video shows nearly 1,000 people marching the streets protesting Israel. They began around New York University, Hunter College. The protesters waved Palestinian flags and yelled, "Shame on you," as they made their way to the Met. Hundreds of officers spread out to make human barricades around the Met, and police were shouting to get out of the street or be arrested. Protesters yelled back,
they were
calling
also
officers
comparing
pigs and
NYPD to the KKK.
Things escalated when protesters made
That
their
what
way
you
to
just
Central
exactly what you
Park to
said?
pigs and get out of the street or be arrested. Protesters yelled back, calling officers pigs and KKK. Things escalated when protesters made their way to Central Park. Demonstrators vandalized a memorial honoring Civil War General William Sherman. They burned an American flag, spray painted the word Gaza on the statue, and stuck a Palestinian flag on it that police later removed. And New York City's Mayor Adams was just here near Central Park, speaking out against the vandalism and saying he's offering $5,000 of his own personal money to help find the people who did it. In New York, Kennedy Hayes, Fox.
Well,
I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't like our country, You can pack your shit and leave.
Yeah, in fact, I was watching
Leave our laws alone.
I was watching a comedian that was joking around, and he was saying that he was talking about, now this was a few years ago, so it was before it really got bad now, but he was more talking about when it was just illegal Mexicans coming over, or whatever you want to call them, since people hate the word illegal. But talking about that and being like, well, why don't you trade one of these people that hate America on a 1-for-1 basis for all these illegals that are dying to get into America that will actually go out and work and stuff? So why don't you just trade them for that? And I was like, you know what? That'd be a freaking excellent idea to me, because right now we got a ton of them. Of course, they probably wouldn't take half of these morons either. And these people aren't going to know who to vote for, because they say they're not voting for Biden. Trump ain't going to do them any favors with that either. Trump ain't going to help them out at all either. And
JFK?
I don't know if he will.
Or RFK.
Yeah, RFK. So, I mean, and
I'll get it right sooner or later.
Then this, I mean, well, I'm not even going to play one, because there is one that a leader of Hezbollah come out with, talking about what he would do with the Queers for Palestine people. It wasn't good.
Well, let's just play that one.
Okay, I'll play it.
Let's just make it real clear that these people are standing up for somebody that really don't like them. And they may not know this. We need to educate them.
I think they think it's a bunch of rhetoric, whatever you want to call it. It's a bunch of fake news in their view, is what they actually think. But this, you do have to read during this one, so.
It's probably in Arabic.
Now it's going to freeze on me.
أما في حالة اللواط فما في فرق بين عزابي ومتزوج.
This Queer for Palestine, you know, maybe I'm overstating some of this. Maybe they do like the gays over there in the Middle East, and maybe in Gaza and Lebanon, where Hezbollah is, maybe they really do love gays. Here we have video of the head of Hezbollah talking about the gays, and well, I guess just judge for yourself.
شو بتقول دراسات؟ بتقول انه من يتورط باللواط ما بيقدر يطلع من اللواط. علق حتى لو فاق، حتى لو انتبه، حتى لو استغفر، حتى لو تاب، حتى لو بكي بنص الليل، بفيق على حاله، بيوعى وبيستغفر وبيتوب وبيصوم. والتجارب تحكي عن أشخاص، يعني أنا سمعت بأشخاص وأعرف أشخاصا خارج لبنان صار معهم هذا الشيء، ويفيق على حاله ويصلي ليل ويبكي ويصوم واللي بدك إياه وخلص علقان علق. طيب هون بهذا النوع من الجرائم التي تدمر العائلة والمجتمع عندنا أحكام حاسمة بالشريعة الإسلامية، لكن شوفوا الفرق. يعني هون واحد بيتوقف عند شيء، أن الزاني إذا زنى، الشاب الزاني أو الرجل أو المرأة إذا زنى، إذا لم يكن محصنا يجلد. أما إذا كان محصنا طبعا بحكم القاضي وإذا ثبت وكذا يقتل. أما في حالة اللواط فما في فرق بين عزابي ومتزوج. في حالة اللواط من المرة الأولى حتى لو كان عزابي يقتل.
For those of you that are not
Arabic, did you see that last one? They will be killed. Oh my goodness!
Also,
they will be unalived.
Also, if you're unmarried having sex, you're gonna, or commit adultery, you're gonna be flogged. Now, tell me how many of these people protesting do you think are virgins?
Not a damn one of them.
So, I think, and see, well, another thing, kind of on the same subject, but another thing is all these liberals are saying they have the right to protest, and it's a right of passage.
They do. They do have the right to.
So just like, and they're comparing it to protesting Vietnam and everything else. Well, one thing that's different about all of those other things that were going on, even BLM, even LGBTQ protest, is that personally or not personally involved in. A lot of these white liberals, they just wanted to protest anything that anybody that would ever support a Republican.
They just wanted to protest. They wanted to raise hell. They were mad.
And but this doesn't affect us at all. This doesn't have the LGBTQ stuff that affected Americans. The racism stuff. Hold on just a second. Love you.
You never know. When it comes right down to it.
The racism stuff, the BLM stuff, that affected Americans. This Palestine-Israel stuff, it might affect some Americans, but it's not going on American soil. And then you're wanting colleges and stuff like that. They're demanding these colleges stop supporting Israel. What are you going to do? Kick out all the Israelis in the school? MIT's another one that's having a big problem with that. In fact, that's...
55% of all student bodies are foreign students. They're not even American students.
I believe that. So, yes, Vince, not yet. But I've been hearing you say not yet ever since I've met you. Okay? So,
I'm going to be a good girl on that one. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I hear that. We can get right on down to the stupid shit,
Yeah, well, racism causes everything. Racism causes everything, according to these people. Did you know that being on time is racist as well?
Yes.
Saying good morning is also racist.
Yes, I know.
But here's what MIT, which I'm sure does have stuff that supports Israel. So here's what they decided
to end the encampment there. Less than 24 hours after it was torn down by pro-Palestinian protesters, MIT crews are reinstalling the barricades surrounding that tent city. And the university president has started to issue suspension notifications. New here at 6, we're breaking down the demonstrators' demands if the university wants them to clear out in time for graduation. WBZ's Christina Hager shows us what it will take to make them leave.
A metal fence went back up today around MIT's pro-Palestinian encampment. The school's chancellor warning that dozens of suspensions and disciplinary referrals are now in the works after this scene Monday. Protesters tearing down that same fence after the administration gave them a mid-afternoon deadline to leave the lawn. Students then rushing back in.
The only way we're going to pack up these tents and move out is if they use violence and forcefully evict us.
Some say there is another way if MIT agrees to cut ties with Israel's military.
These projects include autonomous drone swarms, the underwater precision monitoring that can be used to surveil the coast, pursuit evasion games that have applications to guided missiles.
Words that hit grad student Akiva Gordon hard as he punches Israeli flags into the lawn nearby.
1,200 flags, 1,200 Israelis killed on October 7th.
He's frustrated. Those who've staked out this spot for a couple weeks now refuse to leave.
They've been calling for the murder of Jews. They've been calling death to Zionists.
I could see why MIT would want them to move, but me personally, they're not very disruptive.
Has it been pretty peaceful walking by?
It has. I've had friends go in, I've been in. There's never been a problem at all.
Yesterday, MIT's president warned any protesters who didn't leave by mid-afternoon would face immediate suspension and wouldn't be allowed to participate in graduation. And now that the chancellor has said those suspensions are in the process, the time for MIT's encampment could be running out. In Cambridge, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
And the crazy thing about it is they have their financial contributors or wealthy contributors that are cutting funding with these major universities who provide scholarship. They are leaving in the droves.
They sure are.
They're cutting purse strings.
They don't want to have anything to do with this. It's not just them really that doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yep.
The Democrats don't want to have anything to do with it. The Republicans don't want to have even anything to do with it. Even the far left Democrats don't even want to have. Al Sharpton came on and they cut him off so quick when he was on a show. I tried to find that one too, but it's disappeared too, evidently.
Yep.
And he come up and said, how can us Democrats condemn January 6th and say this is okay?
There you go.
Now, on the other hand, I had a
But now
that said that this is also a bunch of white liberals. So you could see why Al Sharpton would condemn it. But he still, and they jumped on that monitor so quick. Don't compare this to Jane. No, don't say that. You can't say that part out loud. You know.
But now we have the government starting to step in.
Yeah, they're
and that's the scary part. That's the scary part. We have legislation on the books now against these protests.
I know we were going to close out with that video, and I know we're already over, but I wanted to show this one more. The video with what these people's future might look like.
Go for it.
So I know we're over a little bit.
We've missed a few shows. Let's do some makeup time.
I agree with that. So this is CNN talking to Kevin Leary, and they're mainly talking about the UCLA stuff. So
began? Well, that's a question that some, CEOs are now appearing to answer. Just listen, for example, to this warning by ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods when he was asked if the turmoil on these campuses will actually impact whose company even hires.
What we're seeing on campuses today in some places is something very different from that, harassment and intimidation. I think there's no place for that, frankly, at those universities, and certainly no place for that in a company like ExxonMobil. So we wouldn't look to bring folks like that into our company. And if that action or those protests reflect the values of the campuses where they're doing it, we wouldn't be interested in recruiting students from those campuses.
I mean, that might be surprising or not surprising to you. Woods, though, isn't alone. I mean, you have hedge fund founder Daniel Loeb telling the New York Post, quote, "We're looking for high quality candidates, but we're going to be looking at different places." The CEO of an executive search firm tells the Post, quote, "I'm hearing from people they don't want to send their kids to these places, but also from the banks that they're leery about recruiting now from these highly visible schools and will look to places maybe in the Midwest where you don't see this type of activity." Of course, you are seeing some of this on different campuses all across the nation. But is this just a bluff from corporate America? Or might they be serious this time? Well, joining me now, Shark Tank judge Kevin O'Leary is also the chairman of O'Leary Ventures. Good to see you, Kevin, as we are watching all of this unfold. And I want to lean into your experience as a longtime businessman. You've hired thousands of people over the course of your career. And I'm really intrigued about what corporate America's response might be. Would involvement in protests like these, for example, would it deter you from hiring some young adults from any of these schools?
So I'm agnostic to brands. I would hire from UCLA. I would hire from Columbia. It doesn't matter. The hiring decision is an individual decision. It's an individual basis. And so what I don't think we are talking enough about is a tragedy occurring at the individual level right now. When these protests occurred in the past, and by the way, there have been student protests since America was formed, and we allow free speech, and protests have been part of it. And you think about the 60s and the 70s, Vietnam War, and all of the protests that have occurred, most of those were shot on 16 millimeter film. The majority, 80, 90% of that was high grainy. You can't really get any resolution. But unfortunately, for these participants in the last few weeks, that's not the case. And let me explain it. It's being shot on 1080p and 4K video, and from surveillance cameras with extremely high resolution in low light conditions, including retinal scanning. This is what's happened with AI. So if you're burning down something or taking a flag down or fighting with police, I'm sorry, you're trashing your personal brand. And let me explain how this works. When I'm hiring somebody, and I'm not different than any other corporation, you just heard from S&P 500 CEOs, we do what's called a deep, dark search. So if you're a candidate in the executive element of a company or any candidate of materiality, you do this. You look at their resume and you say, let's hire a firm. It's about $4,800 per search, and go deep web, go dark web. All of this imagery that you're seeing tonight, all of this unedited film is going to be there in about 2 weeks. So if you're out there right now, even in the dark with no sunglasses on, even though you've got a mask on, I'll see your eyes at 4K resolution. I know who you are. And unfortunately, what's going to occur to these young people who have not thought this through, I'll see your resume. You may be a great candidate. Then I'll find that you were doing this or fighting the police or whatever it was. I'll put that resume on the left into the garbage because I know I can find someone else just as good as you, of which there are tens of thousands of candidates, that didn't participate in this. You are trashing your future. And look, I'm not against you protesting, but you must understand in today's economy with AI technology, you just killed your career. I feel sad for them. I really
I want to
do.
ask you, I mean, first of all, and it's daunting and really foreboding the way you describe just how accessible the information really could be, and that people's anonymity, when they intend it to be and anonymous, is compromised. But there are those who would probably have two reactions. One is maybe take your job and shove it. The priority is what I believe in terms of what I stand for. That might be one response. The other might be, well, hold on, I'm from a generation, I mean, not me, I'm an 80s baby, but a generation where my whole life has been documented on social media. And so join the club. Add it to all the other things you're likely to find about me. It's unfair that you say you want me to protest and I get held accountable. Can either be reconciled?
Who else said they want you to protest?
Well, there's 3 ways this affects you. Let's take the Google situation. You broke company policy, you got fired, you can sue Google. Good luck with that. You're not hireable anymore.
You're referring to those who engaged in that sit-in, essentially, of employees.
26
from Google,
of them.
I mean,
there were dozens of them. I should tell you about. There were dozens who were fired or placed on administrative leave because they were participating in employee sit-ins inside of some of the offices last month, and they have filed a complaint arguing that they had protected speech and that they were unlawfully fired. Go ahead.
Not in a
It's fine. You can litigate till the
business.
cows come home. You're not going to get hired again. You have to understand you have an employment contract and you breached it. That's number one. Number two, you broke the law. You're caught on a 4K security camera for the rest of your life. You're there. I'm sorry. You just didn't think it through. And I understand the passion when you're in your early 20s. We're all there. I mean, everybody went through this. In college, you have passion. I think it's great. But you got to think about your future when you're starting a family. Today, all of these people, tens of thousands of them, won't know why they didn't get that job, won't know why they can't join a board, or they couldn't get a loan, or they couldn't join a nonprofit. It's because of what you did in the last 48 hours. I'm really sorry for them. And I teach at colleges and universities, and I tell these young students, we're in a new era of AI, high-resolution imagery.
But is it fair?
What it is.
I mean, I wonder what your opinion of it is. I mean, I know you've expressed the feeling sorry for them, but might that translate to, okay, and I'm not talking about people who have committed heinous acts and in the course of things, but there has been even a push for people who are returning citizens who have had felonies. And there was a push under the Obama administration not to have to check a box every time you were trying to return to society, having been promised an opportunity once rehabilitation occurs and all those different deterrence and punishment, that something will consistently hang over your head for the rest of your life. Might the sorrow you feel translate to a second opportunity to go beyond what has taken place in the last 48 hours or weeks?
I wish I could kumbaya with you on this. I really do.
No
But
s'mores and roasted
unfortunately-
marshmallows for you and I, obviously.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Life is hard, then you die. So you really have to think about the decisions you make. And I urge young people today to understand the world they live in. There are hundreds of thousands of people competing for great jobs. And the minute you put yourself in this precarious position where you're filmed in AI, 4K, 1080p forever, for the rest of your life, you're tainted. I'm sorry. I feel the weight. I feel so bad for these people. They have no idea what they're doing to their future. They're tainting their personal brands forever. ever.
But let me
It's
tell
a
you what
huge
your
mistake.
colleague.
And I'm not against their passion.
I hear you, but I want just to read you. I know we have limited time, but I just wanted to read you a statement that your former fellow Shark Tank member Mark Cuban actually provided to our show. He said, "Business is like Dory. It quickly forgets what is inconvenient." This suggests, in some respects, that there's more or less some bluster, and that if a business wanted to overlook something for its own corporate benefit or otherwise, if they wanted to lean into a movement or lean away from a movement, it's kind of their Bobby Brown prerogative. What's your reaction? By the way, Bobby Brown was a great R&B singer from the 90s.
I love this, and Mark can hire them all. It's just fantastic, because I won't be hiring any of them.
Really? Okay. Well, it's interesting to hear your perspective, and I think it's one that we have not heard as a different way to approach the consequences of what has happened. I do wonder, though, in the grand scheme of things, those who are as impassioned as we have obviously seen, and I'm not going to comment at the moment on the nature of where that passion is directed, whether they're thinking in the way that you are describing and thinking as a potential employer. Kevin O'Leary, nice to talk to you. Oh, go ahead. I knew you were going to have the last word.
And I will say this. No. Listen, tonight, let's kumbaya. Let's be proud of these people and their passions. You hire them. I won't. Thank you.
All right. Well, there you go. No marshmallows happening in the CNN studio. Thank you, Kevin O'Leary.
I'm with you, Miss Ruth. I'm with you.
Me too.
Okay. I've got something to say right now.
Go right ahead. Me too.
When you're going to these colleges and these institutions of higher learning, and you're away from your mother and your father for the first time in your life, and you're looking to make some easy cash, and somebody tells you, hey, there's this nonprofit that's going to pay you $1,200 an event if you'll just go stand around, bullshit, and holler some crazy stuff, they're going to pay you $1,200. Hello? You're not passionate. You're greedy.
Yeah.
You're making bad decisions.
And sorry, those bad decisions follow you, just like he was saying. And jobs, I don't care how much bills and laws you want to pass, jobs don't have to hire you.
That's right.
And just like you're talking about getting paid to protest for stuff like that, it happens to these OnlyFans people all the time. Yep. Where, oh, this person has an OnlyFans site. Goodbye. You're a bad look for our company. And Google found out, just like they were talking about. Google found out what happens when you hire those kind of people. They took over
about it last week.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking about and she was talking about. So we hired all these protesters, and now they're protesting in our office and won't work.
Bad decisions. I know when you're in your early 20s, you're looking to, find your place in life.
Change the world.
To make your mark. To help change the world and make it better. But when you're making stupid ass decisions the way these people are doing right now,
well,
you're ruining your life.
I thought it was on one of the videos that I was sharing, but I didn't see it on there. But you got to think, these people are out. He was talking about doing these deep dives on people and everything, and how they could scan your face and everything. They found every one of those people from the January 6th stuff.
Yeah.
People that were just there, and they found every one of them. So what makes you think that they can't find you, and somewhere these big companies can't deep dive and tell, what are you going to put on your college or your application straight out of college? Because now they've got these kids that weren't in these protests crying like babies saying, we can't find a job anywhere, and even Biden just went and wiped out a whole bunch of debt for people who went to some art college.
Yep.
Why isn't my college debt getting wiped out? Shit, for
You
that
know,
matter.
I knew when Disney was developing this AI technology of facial recognition for, child security,
Yeah.
and, the government went in and bought it from them. It was a bad idea.
And Kimberly's going to go in here and add about syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Way off topic for tonight. Evidently, also, syphilis is skyrocketed lately.
Yeah.
So, and
It's all the sexual promiscuity.
that's part of the 304 movement, from what I've been understanding. So,
But we have our government. Let's get to that one, Chad. It's just killing me.
I can tell. I already was getting it pulled up, and then I had to stop pulling it up. So, so yes, this is a bill that's been passed, bipartisan bill.
Bipartisan.
It's been passed.
This should scare you. It's bipartisan.
Yeah. And from what I understood, it was
passed a bill today that would broaden the definition of anti-Semitism.
News 4 Tucson's Jafet Serrato is live at the U of A. Jafet, what other details do you know about this?
Good evening, Monica and Sean. The bill is called the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, and if it becomes law, college campuses like the U of A here could face civil rights enforcement if it does not protect its Jewish students. The bill would direct the Department of Education to use the definition of anti-Semitism created by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, describing anti-Semitism as a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. That definition would be used when enforcing federal anti-discrimination laws. The bill also names examples of anti-Semitism, such as phrases heard at college campus protests, like "from the river to the sea." The bill passed in the House 320-91, with Congressman Juan Ciscomani voting with the majority. Representative Raul Grijalva did not vote. Many local Jews are pleased with the vote by the House.
I think a lot of people who use these terms don't understand how offensive they are to the Jewish community.
I also spoke with a Jewish U of A student who is worried to be on camera amidst the ongoing tensions.
A lot of my peers and I are very pleased that the U.S. House passed this bill, because we believe that it will lead to our protection and our safety on college campuses.
Critics of this bill say the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act would limit free speech in college campuses. News 4 Tucson reached out to local pro-Palestinian groups, but they did not reach back.
Hey, Cheesecake.
The bill now heads to the Senate. It's unclear how the votes will turn over there. Live in Midtown, Jafet Serrato, News 4 Tucson.
All right, Jafet.
All right, folks. Let's examine this one real close. We have all these protests on these campuses. They're against the Jews. Our government's trying to step in and stand up for the Jewish people by passing a bipartisan anti-Semitism bill. And this is a very perplexing thing, but it is a very fine line to forfeiture of your First Amendment right freedom. You have the right to speak your piece. If you don't agree with it, tough shit for anybody who doesn't like it. But now we are putting verbiage into laws that will affect us in the long run, because if we know anything about our democratic government up here, they like to change the meaning of words in bills.
That's true. And I agree with you on that, with the side of them liking to change the verbiage on bills. And that's one of those things why I don't like, because I forget who it was. It was somebody like Rush Limbaugh or something like that would say every law they pass is a right you just lost. So
bingo.
On the other hand, some of the anti-Semitic stuff that they seem like they're doing now, like death to Jews and everything else, I could see why that would be losing your freedom.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I can understand it, but I like it, but I don't. I don't like because that's another law that they could use to be completely banned.
It is another law that they're going to use to start silencing people.
Yeah. Now
think about it, people. We don't want to hear this that from the river to the sea bullshit on anything anymore because we don't believe in it. But if we put into legislation and make a law that says any anti-Semitic verbiage is a violation of a law, then guess what? You are forfeiting your freedom of speech little bit by little bit because they can change that definition. You know, back when I was a kid, gay meant you were happy. Now it means you're homosexual. You can't say I'm happy and gay. Well, oh, welcome to the Rainbow Club. No, I'm not part of that club. I'm just happy.
I don't know. I think Cheesecake's rest would probably been, yeah, the key word is peacefully there, Dijon. Yeah,
they're not peacefully protesting.
Yeah, you can see some of the remnants of where they were peacefully protesting and then telling people they couldn't come in because they were with a camera and stuff, even though everybody's got cameras out and everything. So
yeah, you know. I mean, they don't want they don't want to be videoed. They don't want. That's why they have in their mask and they're covering their head and they're wearing these dark glasses. They don't want to be recognized. If you are so ashamed of what you are doing that you have to cover your face, then you're doing something wrong.
I agree with that. I mean, you're gonna have to. I mean, like the guy was saying in that one video, are you about to? You look like you're about to rob a bank or something like that. And then I seen something that now they're trying to make it to where kids or students can't wear masks on campus, and it's like, y'all don't know what to think. Y'all got our stuff so messed up, y'all don't know what to think anymore. But
and that's the problem. You know, we're dealing with everyday stuff, everyday life. You know, we started out the show talking about weather preparedness and the devastation and the disasters that our country's going through right now with all these horrendous storms. This is just the beginning, people. Be emergency prepared. Educate yourself. We moved to the protests that are just undermining our First Amendment rights. And it's a slow, slight scale there, you know. You step on that banana peel, it just slide, and then all of a sudden, whoo, you're off down the damn slope. You can't
That's
stop.
what I always say, though, about a lot of this stuff is, you know, that's what ends up happening whenever these people fight or take advantage so much of a right like that, that they just cut it off for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so then they can twist anything around, just like, I mean, riding in a car, I know this sounds like something people would be like, oh, yeah, that should be a law, but you get child abuse charges in Texas if you don't put your kid in a child seat.
Arkansas, if you smoke a cigarette in a car, you're automatically a child abuser and you can go to jail right there.
Not here in Florida yet, but yeah, that's another law, you know. So, and that's what my problem with a lot of these laws is them just trying to take advantage of it in a sense. It's also
it's
I know
overkill.
there's 100 different ways to say this, and I saw somebody on the right arguing about it, which case kind of shows you how people shift from how it's almost like they play games just to see who will do what. Because when TikTok was trying to get banned, when they were trying to ban TikTok, when Trump was in, everybody was like, yes, that's great, that's wonderful. You know, well, no, it was,
it was bad.
Well, it was bad.
But now it's banned because China's trying to subvert our democracy.
Well, that's what it was said on both times. And
make up your mind, folks. Is it good? Is it bad?
But the whole point is, and somebody, I forget who it was, but they had come out and said the quiet part out loud is, since TikTok is owned by China, they can't control TikTok. So they can't control the misinformation, no matter if it's misinformation or not.
Just like
yeah.
X. That's why they hate Elon.
Cheesecake said in some states you can't vape in the car if there's a child in the car with you. Yeah, that's, I mean, smoking's pretty much, and vaping are pretty much considered the same thing now. So, yeah, you can't, I mean, it's crazy to me, but.
It's all about the freedoms, people. It's all about the freedoms. I mean,
but it's
what are you
also
willing to give up?
Where you can't try to take advantage of those freedoms either in many cases.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier just to go along with the flow rather than starting a fight just because you can, you know.
It's the dubious subversion of human empathy.
Okay.
We are sympathetic to the cause. But, you know, they use that empathy to eradicate our freedoms. We are the last free nation in the world, people. The last one. That's why we have millions and millions and millions and millions of people flooding into our country across our borders right now.
Pretty much.
They are fleeing.
And we are about
the socialist agenda. Think about it, people.
One more video, just to lighten everybody up on racist food. So.
Oh yes, you're going to love this one, and I so agree with this fella.
Yeah, this guy here was quite upset about his racist food in a good way. So here we go on this. And it seemed like they were trying to make it out like this was a bad, the station, just the way they reported it, kind of made it out like they didn't expect him to say this. So.
Daughter after a racially insensitive lunch option was served at Nyack Middle School the first day of Black History Month.
Tell you the truth, I'm sick and tired of it all. Because I'm Black, as you can see, and I'm the head of the department who gave the okay for the chicken waffles and watermelon. Everything ain't got to be racist, man. Everything ain't got to be racist.
It's good food.
Cheesesteak, broccoli, and fresh fruit, Aramark, the food service company that provides meals to the district, served chicken and waffles and watermelon.
I came home from a long, hard day of work, and it hit me. I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. How come each stereotype is something that race should be proud about? You think little Mexican babies come home, mi papi, mi amigo? My friends were saying in school that you work so hard. They say like you make 4 or 5 houses a day because you got the knowledge to do it so fast. Why? You think white little babies are coming home and saying, Mommy, today at school, they served unseasoned chicken. Unseasoned. You know what they say about us.
Our kids might be complaining
Back
about
in 2018, another racially insensitive meal was served
I
at
would
New York
complain about
University during Black History Month. It included barbecued ribs, collard greens, cornbread, Kool-Aid, and watermelon-flavored water.
But listen.
Oh, my God.
That just sounds like a good feast.
Y'all gonna have a choice of mystery meat on a stick and rice. And you can wash it all down with a delicious 8 ounces of tap water. Now go run and tell your mama that.
Tell him, brother. Tell him. I'm telling you, what they're saying is racist is just total bullshit because I was raised on all that food.
That dude's right. He's like, okay.
It's all about the verbiage.
Well, I mean, it's the same verbiage. It's the tone of the verbiage you take it in. He's over there saying, why in the hell are you crying? Because blacks, the stereotype for blacks is chicken waffles and watermelon. Hell yeah, that's good food. Just like
it's good food.
Greens and freaking cornbread. Who the? I don't
I'm
know.
sorry. I don't know how rich people gain any damn weight eating snails.
I mean, give me some fucking chicken and waffles any day of the week. I don't care if you do consider. What the hell are you gonna do? Oh, you eating black people food? Hell yeah, it's damn good.
Hell
too.
yeah. Give me some Mexican food. My favorite place to eat when I'm out on the road is a green tea China Garden. It's a buffet. It has all kinds of food. Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese. You know?
Hell, I got a chicken
it's
gallon
good
pitcher of
food.
salsa in my damn fridge right now. Shit. You know, that that guy come back and was just like, something ain't right. Why the hell am I getting picked on for having chicken and waffles as first day of Black History Month?
Yeah. You know, it's the stereotypes.
NYU getting a racially insensitive meal.
Racially insensitive meal, my ass. My God, white people loves that shit too. Come to my house and see if I don't make you some turnip greens that'll make you slap your mama and then pray for forgiveness.
Drive down the
for a
fucking road
second heaven.
and tell me there ain't freaking 6 chicken places on the way to Walmart or freaking 3 barbecue, and Walmart's like 10 miles away from me.
Go to a fucking Subway and try to get a sandwich from Italian. You got meatball, you got provolone, you got pastrami, you got salami, you got ham, you got chicken.
Yeah, but you see, the difference is that shows you how
and we put it on all kinds of different damn bread.
That shows you how racially sensitive their meals are, because they cover the whole spectrum. Yeah, don't judge me for eating barbecue. Yeah, me either. Is that the cheesecake? How is eating ribs racially insensitive meals?
Hell, I got pissed off because I went to a damn Texas barbecue joint and they didn't have ribs.
Well, that's because it's Texas. Texas, it's all beef.
They didn't have ribs of any kind. They were still on the grill. I was early.
I mean, some of these things that they make up just kills me on. Where do y'all come up with this at? I never even heard of half of these food stereotypes until I moved to Florida, and then I got old enough to start watching the news more, and it was like, oh, you can't.
It's all about the verbiage, people.
Fried chicken? That's racist.
It's all about the verbiage.
I mean,
how can they make you feel so guilty and insecure about your lifestyle and the way you eat and the way you think and the way you speak that you'll just give away your freedoms?
Okay. Well,
you know what? I
hope I do not get in trouble for repeating what this black comic was saying. He said that this smart former slave named William Carver Washington
got a monument to him in Missouri.
Okay, what did he invent?
I don't know.
Peanut butter, or was it George Carver Washington? Peanut butter.
I thought that was Jimmy Carter.
That wasn't
his
Jimmy
brother
Carter.
was the Peanut King.
It was
in Georgia. Peanut King. That was his title. Peanut King.
Who invented peanut butter?
I don't know.
Well,
but now apparently to them, but apparently according to the World Health Organization,
George Carver Washington.
Yeah.
Well. Anyway, the joke was that something like 1,000 times more white people have peanut allergies than black people. So he secretly invented peanut butter to kill off all the white people. It was a joke.
Okay, sure.
It was a joke. So, because he was talking about racism and stuff like that. So, I thought it was funny, I guess.
How could he have ever known?
It was kind of a joke, joking more around with talking about all this stuff that they're saying was like saying menthol cigarettes were designed to kill minorities and this was designed to, stuff like that. So
I love me some barbecue and watermelon too.
Me too. So
Grandma says you my sister at heart.
From the East Coast to the West Coast saying that. So
there you go.
All right,
but anyway, folks, you got to remember it's all about the verbiage.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Be prepared. And sometimes it's okay just to step back and say, "Let me survey this situation." And then if you don't like the way it surveys and you don't agree with it, it's just fine to say, "Truck it."
Truck it. All right.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Everybody have a good week, and try to stay safe from this weather. I know I'm going to be getting it this this summer from hurricanes. Should be fun. Have a good week, everybody.